What's up, guys? It's the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys are tuned into Caught
In Conversation.
Shaka Laka Laka. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 129. Daddy needs a sponge bath of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And as always, there was lots of ranting and marking out in this episode, and unfortunately, we were doing really good. And I'm going to apologize to Nova once again in this intro. When we first started doing this, and I made you the official co-host, and we started doing interviews, I talked over you a little bit, and and we've really wrinkled that out in recent times. I feel like every week our interviews seem to get better and better. But unfortunately, with this one, you kind of got left out of the lurch a little bit here because me and our guest for this episode, I'm tripping all over my words, it's one take, whatever's, me and our guest for this episode kind of just kept going back and forth, and you kind of got outed a little bit, so I do sincerely apologize for that. But with that being said, we have the song and match of the week, and I let you kind of take the free range with this and kind of went this and there. I did make a suggestion for the match, and you were like, actually, that makes good because of this. This was based off something you talked about in the conversation, but the song was fully on you. Now, Rhys has told me in previous that his favourite band is Disturbed, so I said, Miss Crossfire, pick your favourite Disturbed song for the song of the week. So you get in the song and match of the week, and then we'll just get into this episode and get into the outro and all the fun stuff.
Alrighty. So the song of the week, for episode 129 was Stupefy by Disturbed, and the match of the week for episode 129 was Juventud Guerrera. Am I saying that right?
Juventud.
Okay.
Spelled with a J.
Juventud
Guerrera. I used to think as a kid that his name was Juventud.
I was just
Juventud Guerrera.
When my brain was going Juventud, I'm like, no, Juventud.
Hoovy. You know Hoovy.
Hoovy Guerrera. Laredo Kid and Black Taurus versus The Rascals, Impact Wrestling, November 16th, 2023.
See, I love that it is spelt Taurus, but you knew to pronounce Taurus. You knew how to pronounce it, but yes, it still gets me. It still gets me. Juventud Guerrera always gets me.
Juventud.
It's like Jose. I used to pronounce Josie when I was reading as a kid, and everyone used to make fun of me. So Chris Jericho has a funny story that he used to think the name Penelope was Penelope. And it wasn't until he heard of Penelope Cruz, who he had a massive crush on when he was younger, that he heard the name. He used to always read it as Penelope. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it, but it's Juventud, Hoovy, the Juice. Yes. He recently actually featured on Crossfire Wrestling, Crossfire with a K for NWA.
Hell yeah.
He recently appeared for them. But yeah, as we said, the reason we picked this song was, I usually say explain it, but I kind of explained it before that, was his favourite band is Disturbed. That I just said, pick your favourite Disturbed song. Obviously, we've used Sound of Silence before, but you basically went through the works and went like, hey, what other Disturbed songs do I like? And then, with the match, we were just like, we need some sort of high-impact flippy-dippy. And in this conversation, Canadian Destroyers come up very early on. And the funny little story of Rhys going up to his trainer wanting to take a tombstone, which naturally took up to being Canadian Destroyers and da-da-da-da. I think you talking about how Trey Miguel did that suicide, tope suicida into the Canadian Destroyer. So we thought, hey, screw it. We talked about Hoovy, which was one of Rhys's earliest memories as the Mexicals. Mm-hmm. So it all just kind of flowed, and to us, it made sense. But I think hit the button and I'll...
From Queensland, the essence of punk, Rhys Rayzelle!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the one and only Rhys Rayzelle, and I'm very excited because I have been telling you for literal years now that I'm going to get you on the podcast, but just between health and life and everything else, it's a common thread that I've had with guests of this show that I've had to constantly apologize because I'm just like, no, brother, I promise I'm not trying to brother you. I really trying really hard to get stuff in the can. And this literally came about spur of the moment. We had someone we were meant to talk to today. They've cancelled. Stay tuned for who that person may or may not be at a future episode. But yeah, man, with literally half an hour to 40 minutes, notice, I was like, hey bro, won't be the most in-depth interview, but obviously we can have you back on again in the future. But we've got the core five. I think Nova's got one or two questions. She slipped in there in between it all, but no, we're just going to get in and hopefully learn a little bit about you and just shoot the shit. And I know, there's a lot of wrestlers that throw around the word mark like it's a bad thing, but the motto of this podcast, Rhys, as you've seen on social media at this point, is it's for the marks, by the marks. So we're going to rant, we're going to rave, we're going to have a good time and, yeah, just shoot the shit and catch up after not talk. We talk most of the time on social media, but the last time I actually talked to you via phone was probably like 4 years ago. It's been a long time regardless.
Yes, that'd be correct.
We used to often have you and your partner. We often had the old Facebook Messenger video chats just because we're all bored and just talking wrestling and life and all the fun stuff. But how are you doing?
Well, glad to be here finally, brother. Glad to finally be here on the CIC podcast. It's been, we've known each other 6 years actually.
Yeah, I think we've known each other 6 or 7 years now, but yeah, we used to talk quite frequently. But yeah, that's probably the longest diatribe I've done while trying to introduce someone and just hijacking. But I'm like, no, we're just, for context, Rhys and I have known each other for a long time and actually got to work Rhys in my infamous match with Birdman. Everyone loves Birdman.
Oh, yeah, Birdman.
Still waiting for that one-on-one, health pending, but here's what it is.
Yeah. I got to wrestle Birdman 1-on-1. One of the NCPW shows. Put the old man over, as
Made
you do.
Look strong, brother.
Make him look strong, brother.
But Rhys and I were promised a one-on-one, but that fell through just because wrestling and politics. But again, still waiting.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome to New South Wales that night. Yeah, you put me on the ropes, and you're like, "Welcome to New South Wales, bitch. Welcome to New South Wales."
And then I ended up getting pinned by Birdman anyway. But that's regardless. What was your earliest wrestling memory, Rhys? It's always the first question we ask, and before we get ranting too long and then just talk about everyone else but yourself.
Yeah.
What was the first time?
Shit all day, bro.
What was the first time you recall seeing professional wrestling in whatever format that may have been?
Well, wrestling's pretty much been in my life ever since I can remember. But my first memory of wrestling was when I was 5 years old, and my cousins were watching it on my grandmother's little box TV, and they had the Foxtel and everything set up. And the Mexicals were coming out on their little ride-on mowers.
I shit you not. And Nova can attest to this. There is days I will walk up, that Mexical's theme song gets stuck in my head more often than I'd like to admit. And I don't know why, because it's been so long since I've watched the Mexicals compete.
Yes, it's been so long. And, Super Crazy's still wrestling. Psychosis wrestles under a different name. I don't remember what it is from the top of my head.
I think it's honestly just gone back to Psychosis. There's two wrestlers that are both Psychosis currently.
Yeah, there's the original Psychosis. Yeah, there's the original Psychosis, who now wrestles under, I think his name is something else.
I think maybe
Arrow or something.
Something fucking Psychosis.
Yeah,
he goes
and
by
then
both.
there's Psychosis 2. Psychosis 2, and he still wrestles as Psychosis.
Hoovy's still going as well, though. Hoovy's still going strong out of the three of them, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, Hoovy. Yeah. Oh, Hoovy's had a lot of, let's say, interesting moments.
He had a lot of controversy when the Mexicals first started, actually, and I think those stories are probably well documented on the internet. But he was like the focus of the group, and within like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, he'd been fired from the company because of his attitude.
Hoovy, I think he was refusing to drop the cruiserweight title to someone or something like that. And WWE weren't having it, so they were like, see ya.
Fun fact, though, out of obviously my all-time favourite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero, which is very well documented on this show, and you're very much aware of that yourself, Rhys. But when you talk about the WCW cruiserweight division specifically, Juventud was always my favourite WCW cruiserweight person. So growing up to learn that he may have had, a little bit of an ego was kind of a bit sad. But honestly, he's doing some cool shit now. He's doing a lot of stuff on the indies. I'd like to think that it seems like he's matured because a lot of people are still working with him. But yeah, it's always that funny story when the Mexicals come up of, let's build a group around this one guy, and he's gone.
And it's gone.
But what was it exactly about the Mexicals race that kind of stuck out to you?
The ride on mowers, man.
It's like some GTA type shit, honestly.
Yeah, like I could just imagine that being a GTA character and, driving down the highway and everyone's driving past them and honking and, hey, what are you doing on the side of the road, man? What are you doing?
Spent many a times.
Hey, I'm just trying to get to the next town, Holmes. You know what I'm saying? You know how hard it is?
Spent many of hours on the back roads of GTA San Andreas in the tractors, and they're so fucking slow. Yeah. And the NPCs would get so mad. And, it's just the same thing, but with the lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Oh god. We've just derailed this straight off the bat. I love it so much.
That particular impression I just did was Caesar from GTA San Andreas. So
yes. But from what point of being a fan of wrestling, Rhys, did you discover that Australian wrestling existed?
Oh, great question. Let's see. I think I was about 12. And, yeah, I think AWF was doing stuff around that time, and they were huge. I just didn't know of Australian wrestling until I saw them in particular. And then, I realised, there's another company. Oh, there's another one. Oh, let's see if there's one near me. Oh, there is. Holy shit. This is fucking amazing. All right, there's wrestling where I live. All right, and it's at the Gold Coast. Shit. So I remember being 17 years old, traveling from where I lived in a small town of Carolee. Traveled from there to the Gold Coast to train at IPW.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and became a professional wrestler from there, pretty much.
Well, that'll transition, actually. Great little segue straight into Nova's first question, so...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll get into it for you.
Let's get into the business.
All right, Nova. What you got?
Alrighty. What was the deciding factor that got you into the business, and when did you decide you wanted to do it, Rhys?
Yes. Yeah, that does kind of lead into it. Yeah, so basically, when I first saw a Canadian destroyer, believe it or not, I thought that was the single coolest move I'd ever seen in my entire life. I want to know how to do that to someone. Or have someone do it to me. Who knows? I have since been on the receiving end, and I've given one. So, yay!
Such a wrestling thing. Like, what's on your bucket list? Take a Canadian. Yeah, just land on my head. It's fine.
I still remember.
I was still trading when I first took one.
Jesus.
I still remember when Troy Miguel did that one, and it was like...
Oh, the suicide dive into the destroyer. Good God, we're just putting this...
That's insane.
It was so good, and I'm like, yeah, I love Impact. It was around the time that you first started showing me Impact.
If I can just hijack then that part of the question before you answer the second part of Nova's question, then how does that conversation come up in training of when do we get to destroyers? Because obviously you've got to cover the basics and all the fundamentals and everything.
Oh, of course.
So how does that come about to the trainer of, hey man, I wanted to, how do I take a Canadian destroyer?
By that time, I'd been training for about 3 years.
Okay, no, that makes it sound a lot better. Excellent.
So
The way you worded that, I thought you were like, yeah, I started training and took a Canadian. I was like, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, no,
let me, took one.
Okay, no, that's fine.
No, let me explain, guys. There's the fundamentals, and then there's the intermediate, and then the advanced. You know, you got to start at the very bottom.
So how did that come to be, man? Like, were you the one that suggested, like, a Canadian, like, who wants to do something? You're like, fuck, Canadian destroyer drill, coach.
No, my trainer was fucking nuts, bro. I'll tell you that. At the time, anyway, he's pretty much crippled now. But when I first started training, I was training under a guy named Ash. Do you guys know Ash?
I think actually he may have actually, if it's the same person I'm thinking of, I think he was actually on the same NCPW show that I was on with you and Birdman.
Oh, he was too. You're right.
Didn't he pin Delicious or something for the title at the end of the show? Like he won the actual heavyweight belt on that show? I think it was the heavyweight belt. Some sort of belt. It was some sort of shiny object. Delicious tried to cheat and punch him in the dick, so Ash returned the favor and punched him in the dick, and the ref didn't see it, but saw Delicious's, and there was this big thing of the match was restarted and wrestling power, but it was awesome. The fans reacted.
Brother, I was smashing beers at the bar. I wasn't even paying attention to the rest of the show. I did my bit, walked over to the bar. That was me for that.
Fair, honestly, fair. Dude, I legit, like, not to derail it too much, I had sat backstage talking to Birdman for like an hour and a half after our match. Like, oh, fuck, I'm breaking kayfabe here, but who gives a shit? It's a podcast. That's why we're here. But like, legit, I was just shooting the shit with Birdman. I just shot the shit with Birdman. It was fucking awesome. He was telling me like how proud he was of me and like all this shit because he'd like seen me like as a ref, and he was on the show where I debuted like a year prior in Cowra, and yada yada yada. It was just like, fuck yeah. Actually, 2 years prior. Actually, what is math? But yeah, it was just like, I was just chatting to Birdman. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, Birdman's a character, bro. I tell ya. If you thought he was, a bit, crazy when you first met him, the second time I saw him when I wrestled him, oh my fucking god, bro!
I've met Birdman probably 4 or 5 times now. Worked on shows with him, but maybe 6. But yeah, it's like every time I meet him, he just gets. I think it's just he just gets more and more comfortable with you, and he's just like, yeah, bro, let's go, bro. And you're like, you know what? I actually like. So all of his like online reels and stuff, and the Fat Cats and Mr. Star and whatever else. Like, and I actually have talked about this on the pod before. I'm like, fuck Birdman, don't come for me because I don't want to be in those reels. But like all jokes aside, Birdman is a very interesting character, and he's always entertaining to be around, to say the least.
There's never a dull moment, mate. There's never a dull fucking moment with that man. Every time I see him, he's like, hey, what's up? What's fucking going on? Oh. Don't fucking sit there and have a tea party, mate. Come in the ring and fucking train with me, mate. Oh, I'll fucking take chops.
Aussie
Biffo.
But tell us, go back, Rhys. Tell us, how did it come about where you said to your trainer, I want to take a Canadian? So was it literally just that simple, or was there like a method to it?
I'm sure there was a method to his madness because it wasn't my fucking idea.
Fair enough. Do you want to circle back to the second part of that question?
I know I'm teasing the story a little bit, but pretty much how it started was I'd just randomly gone up to him while he was training people. He was teaching people how to roll and shit. And then all of a sudden I just walk up to him and I'm just like, give me a tombstone. And he's like, okay. And then as he's picking me up, he's explaining to everyone that's in the ring how to do this move. So, he's got me tucked like this, and he's just like, and make sure you tuck like fuck. like you're about to suck dick. And everyone in the ring's like, huh?
I mean, look, how else do you describe that? It's like the art to a good roll-up. Ass to chest.
Yeah.
Ass to chest.
What do you think a fucking tombstone is? It's a standing 69, isn't it? Is it not?
Oh God, is that the name of the episode right there? Standing 60. Oh God.
Oh shit! I think we've got a title.
My God. But so yeah, you basically just gone tombstone me, and he's like, "All right, this is a life lesson."
Yeah,
and it's naturally just
gave me the
evolved.
tombstone. I made sure I preemptively sucked his dick. You know, as you do. It's wrestling. It's not gay. But you can't be gay and wrestle. I'm not saying you can't be. You can definitely be gay and wrestle. Let me just clarify that. You can be an alien and wrestle. It's totally fine.
Oh, Jesus.
I just love wrestling.
So basically, you took the tombstone and it just kind of, I guess, evolved.
And that just kind of transitioned into, well, you took the tombstone. Did you want to try and take a Canadian? And my eyes just lit up, bro. Like, I was like, this guy is insane. I love this man.
It's like, you're fucking crazy. I love you.
Yeah. Fuck. He gives me the Canadian and he's like, make sure you stand up with me and all that. So when we go up together, you stand straight up and then rotate. Don't just rotate because the whole idea of a wrestling move or wrestling in general is to make everything larger than life, make it bigger, right? So you want to stand up so the move looks bigger, and it looks like I've just driven your head into the canvas with a flipping pile driver.
Yeah, how many people have we seen, both locally and internationally, be injured on that same move because they've just gone, oh, I can do a backflip, and they've just done a backflip and landed literally on their head, and it's like, oh.
No, there's more to it than that.
Seen it firsthand a number of times with multiple different individuals.
You don't even have to know how to do a backflip, man. Trust me. You're going over no matter what. As soon as you stand up, you're going over. So it doesn't matter.
That's why you work together, not against each other. And it's like, again, kayfabe aside, but it's a wrestling podcast. You know what you're getting here.
Yeah, come on, guys. we all know wrestling's a work. It's predetermined.
But like, how many fucking people have been injured taking Canadians because they've just gone, watch me do a flip, bang, on the top of their noggin, and it's just like, oh, well then.
That man is dead.
What do you reckon, Nova? Do you reckon you'll take a Canadian destroyer off the couch for me tonight?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No? All right.
I'll over-rotate it.
But following on from the second part of Nova's question, before we get too far, Rhys, this is going to jump all over the place timeline-wise, but when did you decide you wanted to take it, even try to train?
When I was certain moment or anything years old.
Was there a certain moment that made you go, I want to do that?
When I was 15, I tried to train. This is a funny story. Big name in this story too. A lady by the name of I'm not sure whether you know her, Toni Storm.
Yes, I think everyone knows Toni Storm currently.
Okay, cool. So I can continue the story without explaining. I'm in the ring, and it's after a show, and I'm, on the ropes, and I'm posing for my cousin who's taking a photo of me outside the ring, and I'm going, like I'm a big wrestler, and I'm well. Yeah, I'm a fucking dick, dude. I'm I was fucking puny. So, like, looking back at those photos, I'm like, oh my fucking god. But anyway, Tony comes to the ring and she's just doing her rounds, taking photos with fans and stuff. And I hop out of the ring, and I smack the apron with the palm of my hand, and holy fuck, man! Like that ring is not soft.
Yeah, that's the moment that Rhys Rayzelle realized that, oh, this actually isn't a trampoline like everyone on the internet says.
Yeah.
The hardest part of the ring, by God, that steel beam.
Shit, that was like the worst, the worst fucking thing I could do, right, was fucking smack the apron, right? The 15-year-old me didn't know that was the hardest part of the ring. So, Tony comes over, she hears the smack of the apron, and she comes over, and I'm just like, holy shit, the ring is hard. And she goes, yeah, it is pretty fucking hard, isn't it, kiddo? And then she walked off, and I'm just like, well, should I try taking a bump then? And I'm saying it as she's walking away, and she did not respond. She just no-sold me, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
She's like, oh, look at this fucking Mark thinking he can get in the business. Well, little did she know.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. That is amazing. That's actually just popped me so hard because, like, I'm kind of visualizing it in my head. I hope that the people that listen to this get the same kind of visual that I'm getting right now because I'm just, oh, God, I'm just picturing her, like, obviously a lot of people, if you've only just recently discovered her as Timeless Tony, maybe not so much, but
I'm picturing Golden XT.
Like the original version of Tony where she was, she was just a rocker chick, bit of a tomboy, just telling this like little fucking skinny kid like, you fucking idiot. Like,
you fucking Mark. Like, shut the fuck up, little prick.
She's just probably thinking right then and there, like she just wants to kick you herself, and she's like, nope, better not.
Oh man, I swear she wanted to kick me right in the testicles. Like, she didn't want to bar me, bro.
That's a fun little story though. Like, obviously, I don't know if you're planning on attending the the AEW shows that are happening early next year, but obviously that is kind of up your way. But I'm like, if you had the chance to meet Tony, that'd be a fun little.
Screw her.
I'm like, that'd be such a funny. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm
not forgiving her for that shit.
You broke his heart, Tony. You broke.
She could have been married to me and not Juice Robinson, you know.
Oh, God.
But no.
You fucking Mark.
Yeah, fucking Mark.
Did you want to jump in with your next question, Nova?
Yeah.
Us boys are just hijacking the show. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible, terrible co-host.
That's all right. You're catching up. So you're a bit of a daredevil, Rhys. So what's been both the craziest spot you've done and which spot has sucked the most?
Sucked the most?
Yeah.
Like what's hurt the most?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I guess so. That's kind of how you wrote it.
I mean, mental, physical. I guess your interpretation of that question.
Any match with Reverend DR.
Dude, some of the bumps, honestly, that you fucking like took in the singles matches, well, even the 4-way you did, or triple threat, or whatever the fucking ended up being, I can't remember because ADHD. But I remember the was it like Falls Count Anywhere match or a street fight or some sort of fucking no DQ match anyway. I remember watching that back, and some of the bumps that you took in that was fucking pretty fucking hectic.
I've watched that match back a few times, and some of the stuff I did in that was, I look back and I go, what the fuck was I thinking?
See, this is going to make me sound like a mark for myself, which is the one thing I always say. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being a mark, but don't be a mark for yourself. I always love watching that match back And it's literally the table that has my name on it that didn't break at the event prior, so it was a couple events prior, so it was just eventually recycled.
Yes, I do remember that table.
It just makes me laugh so much because like the camera zooms in on it to try and like get the visual and everything, and then it just literally just says Crossfire, and then Rhys Rayzelle goes through it.
They wanted to get that visual because they were like, "Holy shit, he actually broke the table."
And then like the laptop screen being busted, and good God, there was a lot in that match.
My God.
Although I do have heat because I asked a couple of shows before that, like obviously
It was a half-hour match.
So I was meant to be, obviously that venue I only got to perform in once, but I was meant to be at the show a few shows before that. And I originally said, I want a cannonball off that stage. And they told me no. And then literally the first like show, like in that venue, Rhys cannonballs off the stage. And they're like, it's different though. He's in the title match. And like young me was like so hard. I was like, that motherfucker. But I'm like, it's fine because he did it better than I would have anyway because I'm fat. But still, I was like, I want a cannonball off the stage. Like, and they're like, no stage spots. And then like literally the first show that they have in that venue, they ended up doing the stage spot anyway.
It's okay, man. You still got your sploosh.
I did. I still got the sploosh in.
Yeah.
Not in that venue, but that's okay. Yeah. I remember the Gympie venue, I think I hit like 3 frog splooshes in one night. And I was just like, oh God, I'm so sore. I'm too fat to be doing this. It's like, oh, you're going to do it in the match and then there's going to be like the run-in at the main event. And I'm like, fuck.
Oh, man.
I was like, I'm too fat for this. Why did I agree to this? Should have got a better contract.
If we had a sickle, I would have had a lot of cardio to do.
Honestly, though, like all jokes aside, if I ever get cleared, I feel like my cardio is probably the best it's ever been currently. So maybe I'll bust out another sploosh or two. But I'm not fucking not holding myself to that. That's for sure. God damn.
Yeah, hold yourself to it just in case you wind off the trail, you know.
Oh, technically it was 2 splooshes, but I did the double one because I did one to Nate Evans and Gator. And I accidentally got Nate in the ribs because I told him to move out further because it was a smaller ring, but he didn't believe me. I was like, no, I might be fat, but I don't go for height, I go for distance. I went like halfway across the ring and he still didn't go far enough, and I got him in the knees. Got him with the knees, and then I hit one on Bushido later, and that winded the fuck out of me the second one later in the night. I don't know why. I think it's just because Bushido. I think it's just because he's got the bigger frame. And like it was full contact, and I told him, I was like, I'm fat, you need to brace, like, and it was just bang, and he was like, oh fuck, when I hit him, and I was just like, sorry, bro.
Yeah, I've teamed with Nate Evans before, and same situation as you. He's like, I'll place him and make sure that he's in the middle of the ring for you, right? Because, he had that distance issue with you. And he's like, I'll make sure I place him in the middle of the ring. What does he do? Hits his finish and puts him, like, right in the corner where I am. And I had to do a 450. I had to do a 450, bro. I wasn't just doing a sploosh or a splash or, a senton or anything like that. I was doing a 450 splash. Jesus. And I was doing it on Blair Seeker. So Nate hits his finish, and Blair Seeker's just right near me.
So and now you're going to try and be like, fuck, how much height do I need for this?
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, you motherfucker? So I went for it. I went for it anyway, and both knees got him right in the motherfucking ribs.
And you just come down, you're like, I'm so sorry.
No. I was like, hit motherfucker, I told you.
Oh, fuck.
No, I don't feel sorry for people if they know that I've specifically told them, I get distance with my 450s. and they don't believe me. So that was the last time I ever tried to whip one out. I haven't done one
I
since.
actually, I lost a shoe hitting a frog splash or a frog sploosh on Tank actually back in Canberra in ICW because it was the same thing. I was like, bro, I need you out. And because he was just kind of that, I kind of had to go a bit higher. I cleared the ropes. I thought I was doing good. And right as I come down, I clipped the bottom rope. And like my shoe has like ripped off, but it was still stuck to my kick pad. And I'm like, fuck! And like, there's like 30 seconds left on the clock, and I'm like trying to put my shoe back on, and the refs just like leave it. So I just like launched my fucking shoe, and it came in handy after the fact because there was a post-match attack where I literally just threw my shoe to Rev, and Rev hit Tank with my shoe. And I was like, well, at least we made fucking use of it. But I was like, fuck. And he's like, how did your shoe come off? And I was like, I clipped the fucking rope. I was like, I told you, roll out. Because he's like right in the corner where I'm on, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, I ain't no Montez Ford. I ain't going to jump 10 feet in the air. I tried very hard.
You know what? That's the first time I've heard Reverend Diaz actually be useful.
Oh, God. Anyway. But I mean, it's funny because Nova talks about crazy sports. I remember being at the show in Queensland where you and, oh my God, what's his name? James Alexander. I went to call him Josh Alexander. That's the fucking TNA wrestler. James Alexander, you did the Spanish Fly.
Yeah.
But again, Spanish Fly, that's actually one of Nova's favorite wrestling moves. Yeah. Again, it's flippy dippy, but it always looks cool if you hit it right. The fucking height that you guys got on that and somehow managed to land it perfectly in the middle of the ring was awesome. But again, given how small the ring is, like I feel that makes it even more impressive that you guys were able to like it's a 16-foot ring, which a lot of places that's standard, but the most people in this day and age, the average ring size is usually 18 foot. So having a little bit of less wiggle room to not only hit that Spanish Fly, but to hit it that perfectly in that tiny ass ring, like us boys backstage were losing our fucking minds. And like I've told you this story, but I was like, I don't think I'd even think about taking a Spanish Fly, which is a front flip, let alone doing the back flip version and actually giving it. Fuck that, I'm too fat. But
speaking of James Alexander, he's actually at my house right now. He's in the next room.
Well, there you go.
So shout out James Alexander.
Yeah, listen to this. Give us another download.
Hey,
Please,
we had 123 yesterday.
Yeah, okay, so like, again, this is Rhys's story, but as we record this, we've had 123 downloads in the last 24 hours. So what the actual fuck is happening right now is my question. But anyway.
Yeah, I saw you post that, and I'm like, wow, really?
Because I was like, oh, yeah, da-da-da-da, and then I was just like, what the fuck? Like, and it's like, it has to be the same person, because it's like they've gone in order from like episode 50 up to like episode like 80 something, like a good chunk of them. So like there's 30 downloads there from like one person. They've obviously gone through like one whole day of just episodes. But then, yeah, there's like all these little random episodes here that was like one download here and one download there. And I was just like, what the fuck? But hey, I'm not complaining, obviously, but I'm trying to make things happen.
Huge fan of Aussie wrestling.
I don't know how they put up with my voice. Like, I hate the sound of my own voice. Regardless of having a podcast and being a commentator, I'm good at it, but I fucking hate it. It's this weird thing, but...
It's because of my pretty
I
voice.
just put on a different voice if I don't like the sound of my own voice. So,
just be
you
like,
know,
hey guys,
sometimes it's Vince McMahon, sometimes it's Drew McIntyre, sometimes it's Hulk Hogan.
There's a video somewhere,
Macho
I don't
Man.
know if it's still fucking... You absolutely smoked me because I was just doing a Macho Man impression and then you and I kind of got into an impression off and it was on the fly and we went into like these random... At one point I kind of went into like a Road Warrior Hawk impression and I don't even know where the fuck that came from. It was... I don't know if the video still exists, but it happened somewhere and we're like... It was like a woo-off basically, but we were just going into... I think I even did a, oh hell yeah, Stone Cold! And people are just laughing all around us and it just went on for like 5 minutes and then afterwards like, I don't even remember what I said. And you're like, yeah, neither. I was like, okay, that was the thing that happened.
Yeah, because with these voices, you can just go off.
Because I was just walking around doing the Macho Man, and then you kind of went into a Ric Flair, and I was just like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, you know, my favourite one to do is Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, it's a clubber, and if you will, Daddy. I can't do it anymore.
Let me see here. John Crossfire, I see you got a podcast, and it's everywhere, Daddy. You know what I'm saying? If you will, I'd like to...
That's hard time, Daddy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
fuck
my
yes.
son Cody. My sons Cody and Dustin, yeah, they're doing really well for themselves. You know what I'm saying, Daddy?
But if that video still exists somewhere, I would love to post it somewhere on on the podcast socials.
Cody, Daddy needs a Spongebath.
Daddy needs no, that right there, that's the title. It is the most obscure thing. Daddy needs a sponge bath. That is the episode title. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Nova. You've just kind of...
Oh, that's okay. You're all good.
So to answer the question, the spots you said sucked the most were some of the bumps you took in the Reverend Diath match.
Yeah, 100%.
That was the one where you I think that's where it was like you got your head shaved, wasn't it? It was just after he'd won the title, and it was like title versus hair or something from memory. I believe that was the case. Okay. Would you like to ask the next question instead of me, Nova, so that you're not just kind of sitting here?
I don't mind. Whatever you want to do.
Well, Rhys, what is your favourite match of all time, both that you've had personally and that you've seen?
Wow. I haven't been asked that. Oh, wow.
I mean, you can give us a handful of matches, you know, if you can't just think of one. It's not a gun-to-head, you know, situation or anything.
Oh, well, it's the matches that got me into wrestling. I don't really like the promos. Not really a promo guy. Let's be honest. My promos suck, usually.
I think next time you do a promo, just pick 4 or 5 different voices and just switch in and out between Dusty Rhodes and Macho Man and Ric Flair. Just for shits and gigs.
Give you a sensation montage or something.
Oh, Jesus. But I'm assuming, given your style, it's probably the more high-flying type matches, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
And any wrestlers specifically, though, that you could probably mention then in that case if you can't pick an actual match?
Well, my favourite's your favourite, bro.
Yes, Eddie Guerrero, yes. I mean, just pick any Eddie versus Ray match or, Eddie versus Redacted match.
I got to say Halloween Havoc then.
That's actually unfortunately, that's already been match of the week, so I'm still going to have to find something else because I'm like, fuck, that could almost be match of the week for the podcast. But no, that's honestly, there's 2 matches that stand out to me, but they're tied at number 1, and it's so weird because they're so different. The Eddie and Ray one is obviously there, but the other one is a random-ass triple threat. It's the one where Stone Cold was ran over at Survivor Series. For some reason, that Rock, Triple H, Big Show triple threat it's always been my favourite match. I don't know why. I've watched it 100 times. I used to rent it from Video Easy on fucking VHS back in the day. But no, that Halloween Havoc match was... that may be one of the greatest matches of all time. Maybe we're biased because we're Eddie fans, but that is a...
Yeah.
That is a masterpiece, honestly.
Oh, absolute masterclass. Masterclass talent. You can't get much better than that.
I've got another question for you as well, Rhys. Who is your ultimate, I should say, dream opponent, and what is your dream stipulation?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So who's your ultimate dream opponent, and what is your dream stipulation?
Oh. Dream opponent and stipulation. Oof.
He's thinking.
I'm biased because I'm Australian, so it's got to be an Australian wrestler. I'd say Adam Brooks.
Ooh, okay, Adam Brooks. Yep, Brooksy, the loose ledge. The losers see you next Tuesday in all of professional wrestling.
You got that right. Yeah, and I've been on a few shows with Brooksy, so, that's all well and good. We're acquaintances. I wouldn't say we're friends because we don't really talk outside of wrestling or anything like that. But in saying that, he's a good dude, good wrestler. So yeah, I got to put him as my dream opponent for sure. And the stipulation. Well, I'm a falls count anywhere kind of guy. Like, if you've seen my match with Reverend Diaz, which you guys have, I'm a big fan of going outside and getting in amongst the people and stuff like that. Within reason, I don't let them hit me or anything like that. Usually, sometimes I do. Sometimes I let them do their thing, but it's all up to my opponent usually whether they want to do that or not. I'll usually call. They say no.
Let the fans chop you, but oof. Okay, in some cases yes, but in other cases, I think it's like a read the room situation. Honestly. Yeah, absolutely. When it calls for it is when I like to do it, not just spare the moment. I'll just do this right now. I do love that answer though, because like my answer is always TLC, but in terms of like you go like just the standard you can call it. There's like fucking 100 different names and it's the exact same fucking match, but you can call it a street fight or no holds barred or extreme rules or in this case the hardcore match or the falls count anywhere match. Those are kind of great because from a storytelling aspect, especially if this is the end of a feud and you got two guys beating the shit out of each other. One, the only thing that does limit you is your imagination, but you can do like anything with it, honestly. Like again, within reason, read the room, but you got almost an infinite amount of options with just a basic no DQ match in general. But I think Falls Count Anywhere is cool. That's a very, very underrated stipulation.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't think of pinning outside the ring as a viable option. They always say, no, you got to pin inside the ring. And I'm like, no, fuck that, bro.
See, I think we had a great generation where you could literally, you can go onto YouTube and type in, Falls Count Anywhere, or back in the day when they had the original incarnation of the WWE Network, Falls Count Anywhere, and the amount of, matches that would come up from, the Attitude Era and, early Ruthless Aggression Era, with the hardcore matches and stuff like that. Some of those are real fucking, some of them are really obscure too because I had so many of them. But honestly, you go Al Snow versus hashtag fuck Bob Holly, but Al Snow versus Bob Holly in a hardcore match / Falls Count Anywhere match. And it ends outside, down near the riverbank or whatever. That stuff is so cheesy, but I love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's little things like that. The little segments and stuff like that. I enjoy stuff like that. I just hate talking. I myself hate talking.
See, for me, I'm a great balance. I obviously was brought in, in the Attitude Era, was when I first became a fan, but I didn't really get attached to it until the early Ruthless Aggression Era. And it was kind of seeing, the John Cena raps and stuff that pulled me in initially. But even then, can you count that as promos? I guess on a technicality it is, but it's a very different approach to your standard promo. And it wasn't until later on, when I was probably 14, 15, and my dad was telling me about the Golden Era and Hulk Hogan, brother, that I actually went back and watched. Went back and watched some of those 80s stuff and saw the Hulk promos and the Macho Man promos and the Jake the Snake promos that I really fell in love with them and appreciated them. So over the years, I think promos for me personally have become my favorite, and obviously good wrestling in that is a great balance. But we're all it's flavors of ice cream. If Rhys wants to sit down and watch car crash wrestling, then fucking why not? Because I'll enjoy the fuck out of that while I'm at it too. Even today, as we record this, Bad Blood just happened today. I'm actually wearing a CM Punk shirt as I record this, but despite that, being a fan of Punk, I'm only really interested in seeing Punk's promos now. I have no interest in seeing him wrestle just because he's not as good as he used to be. However, it was a fucking dogfight, car crash, Hell in a Cell match, and I was like, you know what? I appreciate it for what it was.
Yes.
And that's my TED Talk.
I just got off watching that too. I just watched it just before we got on the podcast. And yeah, that
kind of
match
salty
was.
that it wasn't the main event, to be honest. But again, that's another rant for another podcast.
Yes, because the match went for, I counted 43 minutes.
I thought they were going to break the record for longest cell match, to be honest. I thought they were pushing on it, but not quite.
Not quite.
It was like 5 minutes, 5 minutes off. But hey, I suppose it's
Not bad, right?
better to end it while it's hot than drag it out for 10 minutes for the sake of it.
Oh, bro, I was watching it like, are they going to go Broadway? Nah.
Imagine that. Like, it's just a 60-minute fucking Hell in a Cell match, and it's like, time limit draw. Like, when was the last time WWE actually used the time limit? But that would have been cool. Just two men just dead after 60 minutes in Hell in a Cell.
Why didn't they do that for Seth Rollins versus The Fiend? Time limit draw instead of disqualification.
That still irks me, and it's been like, 5 years?
It's a no disqualification match.
Oh, they came out afterwards and it wasn't a disqualification, it was a ref stoppage, and I'm like, same. Fucking bullshit. But I really enjoy. I'd love to see that. Honestly, Adam Brooks versus Rhys Rayzelle in a Falls Count Anywhere match, doing a bunch of crazy, fucking nonsensical, fucking. I don't want to say it it's a bad thing, but just a bunch of flippy dippy car crash shit. I'm 100% here for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Combat Zone Wrestling as well.
Oh, yes, I was a big fucking CZW mark back in the day. So many stars that are there now.
Yeah, as soon as that intro hit, man, you know that, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking, I used to get so pumped for their shows. Just watching it on my TV. Like, holy shit.
It's kind of sad where they've fallen now. Like, I understand, they wanted to do less deathmatch, and it was like, yeah, that's cool. But then it was like everyone just turned on them because they're like, that's not CZW. And then they tried to do the rebrand, and it just didn't stick, I think. I think, they're still trying to run shows, but it just doesn't have the same, I guess, name power that it used to.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of Japanese wrestling. It's not just the car crash, hardcore stuff that I'm into. I'm also into the strong style. And, the hard-hitting Japanese guys going at it, guys like Jushin Thunder Liger, Misawa, Kenta Kobashi. Those guys, I love them to death. They are some of the most supremely talented wrestlers I've ever seen grace this earth.
Nova actually went through a little phase as well. When I don't have it at the moment because I just can't afford it, but when we had New Japan World, she got really into the British strong style, which obviously is a hybrid of your classic chain wrestling, but they've taken elements from the Japanese strong style. Nova got really into the UK strong style, and then I was like, well, if you think that's cool. And I went back through New Japan World and was showing her all this stuff from the 80s and 90s and stuff where dudes were just beating the shit. Even nowadays, I still don't think that Okada and Omega was 7 stars, but I can watch that and think that is a great 5-star wrestling match. And it's the elements of the strong style and stuff thrown in mixed with the the high spots and everything is a great. We just live in a great age of wrestling. I think that was my point. We live in an awesome, awesome fucking time period to enjoy your wrestling. But no, Nova became a bit of a sucker for the Japanese strong style, especially when I started showing her Bam Bam Bigelow's stuff from Japan. She's big
legendary.
Bam Bam Bigelow's fan.
His stuff in ECW was great as well.
We talked a little bit about that cheap plug when we did the Dark Side Season 4 review, and they did the Bam Bam episode and brought a lot of the Japanese stuff up, and obviously the ECW stuff as well. But really enjoyed that stuff when we watched it back.
Yeah, Bam Bam was so light on his feet for a big man. How could someone that size do a moonsault?
Right?
What? What the fuck? What the fuck did I just
but
say?
I like you just kind of like in the background, like a
Willie Mac.
Yes.
Willie Mac. Oof.
Yeah, they just jump in when you want to. Like
just big men doing shit.
When big guys like it's like lucha,
flippy shit that they
like
shouldn't be. But it's
like lucha libre is like one hell of an art. But in this day and age, everyone, it's like you like watch a wrestling show, and from the first match, a lot of the times there is times where it's like, oh, you've seen 3 suicide dives and 2 Canadian destroyers in the opening match, and then that's just the whole card. But when it's big guys like Willie Mack and stuff like that, like Brian Cage, his body's shot now, but big guys that can do that shit always pops me no matter who it is.
I haven't watched him much in AEW, but Keith Lee, like, on Gold Brand NXT was
dude, Black and Gold.
That was some good
NXT,
shit.
like Keith Lee, that was
good shit.
That's the shit right there.
Oh yeah.
if we're gonna go like a bit crazy, like in a perfect world, like who would be your ultimate dream opponent, like for internationals?
International. Man. Brian Danielson, probably.
Okay.
Because I get a lot of comparisons to him. I get it all the time. Oh, you wrestle just like Brian Danielson. You look just like Brian Danielson. I had the Headbangers tell me at a WSW show that I looked just like a young Brian Danielson.
The Headbangers, holy shit. Oh, God. It was so interesting when I met them in Sydney. They took like a few photos, but for the most part, like a lot of the younger people unfortunately didn't know who they were, despite the fact that they were like a nice little core part of the Attitude Era. And they got up like on the chairs and tables and like started stomping and clapping. And they're like, yeah, come get photos. They're like, we'll discount them. Someone take a photo. And they caused like this massive ruckus, but it was like semi in character. But I don't think the promoter took too kindly to them standing up on the tables and the chairs.
Well, the Queensland, the Queensland Brisbane WSW show was very interesting, to say the least. Bit controversial.
Oh, that's the infamous when Austin Aerie got more busted up from the ring than he did his actual opponents, and he got a little bit mad.
Got a little bit salty.
I am glad that the Queensland have got those shows again now, and they've got a suitable ring and a suitable venue and all that. Because a lot of the talent now that it's on one hand it's great that like the local talent like is getting showcased per city, but at the same time it makes me sad because I'm like there's Queensland guys that I'd love them to fly down to the Sydney shows and vice versa. Some of the New South Wales guys I feel should be flown up, but that's another rant for another day. But it's really cool seeing a lot of your guys get those type of matches. I know, like Bobby Bishop is a guy that I look up to with 3 Count, and he does some cool shit. And seeing him get to, lock up with Shigehiro friggin' Eerie is awesome. And I just wish that got more of that.
Who's Bobby Bishop?
May have heard of him. He runs a wrestling school, but
Nah, I'm just kidding.
But
I don't have hate with you, Bobby. I'm just joking.
But no, seeing the Queensland guys on the current iteration of the World Series is cool because Queensland wrestling, like look, I had my experiences, and a lot of people know what my experiences were. But as a whole, there is so much talent up where you guys are, and it's a real shame that so much of the country isn't aware of a lot of them. Like even with social media, like. Everyone on socials are obviously doing a great job of getting their brand out there, but still I feel like compared to the rest of the country, I feel like Queensland does have so much more to offer, and it's a real shame that it's just not getting like as showcased as it should. And the fact that
there's a lot of hidden gems up there.
And the fact that, honestly, I've been saying for so long that the next major wrestling show should have been Brisbane. And the fact that AEW is doing stuff, I hope that I'm not expecting people to get booked for matches or pre-show matches or anything, but if at least some of the local talent can get a look in and get a chance to do some extra work and build some connections and stuff, like I really hope that they do, because you guys have a great crop of talent up there.
Just awesome for Australia in general.
Yeah, like fucking... Look, I talk about my opinions on AEW on the podcast, but I'm like, as
Don't
a
put
whole,
them over. You're supposed to be putting me over. What are you doing? Do your job.
But no, I could
Bloody
see,
hell.
like, Rhys Rayzelle,
my
like,
show now.
fucking, Rhys Rayzelle does, like, a tryout with AEW or does some, extra
yeah,
work for
never know.
AEW. Like, why? Who's to say? Like,
Yeah,
there's-
that's more like it.
But honestly, that was actually the point that I was trying to make, Rhys, all jokes aside. But, like, there's so much of you guys up there that I really I want to see more of. And I know, obviously, flights and everything are really hard as well, but I wish more promoters elsewhere in the country would just take more of a chance.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we do have a lot of good talent up here. Like, where do I even begin? Kyla Knight.
Oh, dude,
love her.
I'd love to get her on the show as well.
Excellent wrestler. And she's going to the United States and making a name for herself there, and I'm absolutely so proud of her.
I honestly, Nova and I put over Kyla a lot, even off air, because the fact that she stakes the claim, not only the first Australian to train at flatbacks, but the first Australian to graduate flatbacks, and obviously Sean Spears, Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
Like, that is some top tier elite fucking training right there. And she's even said herself that
there's
she
a lot
was
more
so
where that
green
came
where she
from.
went. Like, that's... Man, maybe we could see Rhys Rayzelle go over there and take, like, 20 chops from Sean Spears and end up like fucking Chris Van Vliet with the hamburger meat chest.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put those boys over. Yeah, I'll let them do it.
But I think I'll let Nova ask her last official question and then like jump into the plugs, because then we can talk about a lot of those talent that you do work with, Rhys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my last official question would be: we always end on a non-wrestling related question.
Just kind of like a little fun fact, I guess.
A little fun fact.
If we were talking to.
But what is your least favorite food, Rhys?
My least favorite food.
Yeah.
Because usually we like ask people like, "What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?" And we're like, you know what? Let's change it up.
Yeah.
Least favorite.
Like to the point where like if someone put it in a plate in front of you, you'd probably just tell them to fuck off.
For me, it's Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts all day
Fuck
for
those.
me, honestly.
Fuck those.
I love eating my greens. Broccoli's my favorite, but if you put Brussels sprouts in front of me, I will probably tell you to fuck off. Which I know is ungrateful because there's starving kids in Africa, but keep that shit away from me. Making it think now.
Honestly, mangoes.
Mangoes, okay. Mango.
Yeah, I can't stand them. They're too tangy and juicy and disgusting, and they get everywhere, and they're messy, and nah, not for me.
Because I'm the same with mandarins.
Me,
like I love orange flavored, but the texture, like I cannot stand the texture of them. I don't know what it is. Maybe I have issues that need resolving from a therapist. But Nova loves eating mandarins, and she'll every time without fail, "Do you want some?" And I'm like, I will literally. I'm like, the voice in my head is like, slap it out of her hand, slap it out of her hand, and then I'm like, no, don't do that because I'm gonna get slapped myself.
Get shot.
Like you hear the like the stories where Undertaker with his things of like with cucumbers and pickles, like he literally won't be in the same room as a cucumber. And I'm like, I was like, let's throw that out for Rhys. Let's see if there's anything.
Yeah, like the least favorite.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna have fucking wrestlers ripping me in the backstage area, going, "Oh, we just listened to the CIC podcast, and Rhys hates fucking mangoes. Let's put a mango in his fucking gear bag because he's a cunt."
Oh, Nightfall management has to break up a backstage fight, and they're like, "What caused this?" And Rhys is like, "He put a mango in my bag."
They'll have like
gives the dude a black eye over a mango.
They'll literally have your opponent go pick a stipulation, and be like mango match.
Mango, what a pull. Rhys is just like, "Fuck this, I forfeit." A mango ladder match. I don't know. Mangoes. Okay, that's an interesting one. Just a little fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I am the same as you with mangoes, you know. Fucking, it'll be a mango-flavoured something, right? Like a mango-flavoured energy drink or something. And my partner will have one and be like, "Oh, do you want a sip or whatever?" And I'll be like, "Get that fucking shit away from me.
See, Miss Novalee here, her favourite energy drink is actually the Mango Loco Monster, so...
That's fucking disgusting. That is putrid. Get that shit out of your house.
Actually, you know what's my favourite that shits over that one, but you can't get it anymore? It's the mule one, and it's like literally
the
like
ginger beer.
a ginger beer.
See, I hate ginger beer, but I loved that one, so worked that out in its own right.
awesome.
But yeah, we just wanted, like, we try and, like, tailor it to the individual, but I sat there and I'm like, I don't know much about Rhys except for wrestling as long as we know each other. We listen to the same type of music, but majority of the time it's some sort of music-related question. So I was like, what if I could say...
Honestly, anything that looks like urine, I won't touch it.
That's a soundbite for the ages. Anything that looks like urine, I won't touch it.
That's actually the title now.
No, I think I'm sticking with Daddy Needs a Spongebath just because it was thrown out there so fucking randomly.
I love that.
Do you want to continue into the plugs and stuff, Mrs Crossfire / Novalee, so that way Rhys can talk about all the wonderful people at Nightfall and the people that he dotes over as well before we wrap it up to him.
All right, cool. So with that being said, where can we find you on social media? Can we get any merch? Do you have any events coming up? Keeping that in mind, this episode will be dropping on Sunday, October 13th.
And that was my knee that just popped. I think the microphone just picked that up.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at essence_of_punk.
Essence
18. Because that's the year I debuted.
Smart.
And yeah, that's pretty much it because I don't have any other social media, so just Instagram.
Fair enough.
Cute. Got any merch or anything that you need to plug?
I don't currently have merch. It's in the works. So hold your horses on that one. Maybe next time I'm on, might have some merch.
Okay.
But if they go follow you at Essence of Punk with the underscores and the 18, and it'll be linked in the description as well, they can be the first to know about said merch when it does come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be posted on my Instagram once it's available for sure.
What about upcoming events, Rhys? What have you got in the works? Obviously, I know Nightfall have a handful of shows in the pipeline. I think one of them is actually on the 12th of October, so it'd be just before this show, just before this show drops. But I think they just, I think was it them that just advertised a show at the end of October or end of November, or there was another show coming up that I saw. I can't remember the dates.
Yes. Okay, so so as you mentioned, October 12th, we've got Nightfall at Deception Bay. October 26th.
26, yes. I should have remembered that. It's the same fucking date as our show down here in New South Wales. How did I forget the date? Anyway.
Yeah, so October 26th, we're in Maryborough.
Are tickets on sale for that event yet, Rhys?
For the Maryborough or the Deception Bay
for
one?
The Maryborough show. The Deception Bay will be the night before this episode drops on all the platforms.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, that they might be. I might have to check that myself, actually.
Yeah, well, when this episode drops, the ticket link will either be in the description, or if not, just follow Nightfall and shit on socials, and you'll see.
Oh yeah,
make
sure you follow Nightfall on socials. That'll
Rhys,
be
I think, subscribes to the same motto as I do. Every time I get asked a question at a wrestling show, I'm like, I don't know, man. I just work here.
I just work it, bro. Yeah, I'm just here. I work every show, and I know nothing. Like, half the time.
I go out there, I do the wrestles, and I go home.
Yeah, and then we've got one more show.
Yep.
Here, November 2nd.
November 2nd.
And we're back at Deception Bay for that one.
That's a pretty decent turnaround within the space of a month. You got 3 shows. That's pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah, better than nothing, bro.
No, that's really good because, you know, a lot of most places is, you know, they'll do once a month and stuff like that. Like, you've still got, you know, the couple of weeks in between the shows, but that's, you know, in the space of a month, that's 3 shows. That's pretty solid. Getting those reps.
Yeah,
in.
we try to keep it as consistent as possible.
And honestly, while we're on this note, before we wrap it up, if anyone from Nightfall Management wants to come on and talk about this, their the promotion as a whole and etc., please feel free to hit us up, because I know, as I just saw recently, the NCPW page, when we talked about NCPW a little bit at the start, has just been taken over as Nightfall New South Wales or whatever. It was branded something
Nightfall Port Macquarie, bro.
Yes, Port Macquarie. Obviously, Port Macquarie in New South Wales. I think I was thinking New South Wales because they updated the logo. Obviously, the standard logo is purple. The Port Macquarie logo is blue. So I think I was thinking blue because of New South Wales blue. But yeah, they've just rebranded and going to be branching out. I guess that's going to open up even more shows for Rhys. He might do 3 in Queensland and 3 in New South Wales. Who knows? Within the span of,
might be able to see you guys again.
Yeah, possibly. It's a bit of a trek from where we are currently, but never say never. But I appreciate you jumping on and just giving us that Tony Storm story is still.
That popped me.
And I do want to apologise to you, Nova, because I know when we first started co-hosting together, I had that issue, and we worked on it in the last few months that you've been the co-host, but kind of started to talk over you again in this one, and I'm sorry, but some of this, Rhys and I just kind of vibing here, and as we said, this was literally put together on 40 minutes notice with nothing, and I think we've squeezed, just under an hour 15 out of this. By the time we put the intro and outro together, it'll be about an hour and a half long episode. So not too shabby, I do say. We're just shooting the shit. But I look forward to. I think we'll end this race just with obviously Nightfall's kind of your home promotion for the time being. Do you have any goals or aspirations within the realm of Nightfall Pro Wrestling?
Brother, I'm coming after those tag team titles. Johnny Hardwood and myself have been, we've been etching to fucking get them, and fuck, man, I really want those fucking Nightfall tag team titles.
Tag team titles. I honestly, I could say that.
If they're not down with that, I got 3 words for them. Eat it, yeah.
Yes. When you said 3 words, I was like, wait, what? But yes, no, pop. Pop for the reference. I enjoy that. So when/if Johnny and Rhys become Nightfall tag titles, I'm going to go on all over the CIC podcast, Instagram and Facebook pages and be like, you heard it here first.
Yes. Yes.
You're going to use him for clicks.
Get that clout, brother.
But no, honestly, hey, Johnny Hardwood, like, if you want to come on the show, hit us up.
Yeah, or him and I could come on
as a tag
rock
team.
Hard if we really want it.
That'd be a nice, interesting little. Although I think between you, me, and Johnny, Nova probably wouldn't get a word in.
Yeah, probably.
I'll just be chilling and be like, hello.
MC Wormy and DJ Lulu said that we should do what they do, and that's she has a shock collar for him. If he talks too much, she literally shock collars him. Maybe we've got to look into that. I don't know. I'd prefer not to, but
okay, listeners. I want to get this in before we do wrap things up officially. But little known fact, when Little Crossfire was touring with good old Rhys Rayzelle when we were wrestling NCPW, he was talking to this young lady on the phone, and
yeah, we're not going there.
I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? And he's like, oh, I've got a girlfriend. And I'm like, oh fuck, really? You didn't tell me this? And he's like, yeah, we've just been going out. We've only just started going out. And at the time, I think it was only like a couple weeks.
It was literally, I think, 2-3 weeks max. I've actually, before you continue your story, the first time Nova came, it was just after the first time, I think, first or second time she'd come to see me. Like it was still very, very recent. But she'd been at my house for about a week.
Right.
I went to Sydney, and in the middle of the night, rolled over. We were sharing a bed with one Big James because, when you're wrestling, sometimes you got to save space. And I started spooning Big James because I'd been in a bed with my then girlfriend for almost a full week. And I was just
You know,
like, just reached over and I was like, hold up a minute, you're not Teak/Now Nova. And he was just like, fuck, I'm not complaining. And you know what? I spooned Big James because I thought he was my missus. And at the end of the night, I was just like, my bad.
Yeah,
I woke up and I was spooning Big James and I was like, something ain't right here.
Wrestling mates, so it's no homo, right?
Yeah.
It's only gay if beard starts, is the old adage. But you know what? Again, nothing wrong with that. If you are that way inclined, we support that. But no. Yeah, I woke up after spending that week with my partner, Rhys, and I was spooning Big James, and I think that was the second time she just stayed. But yes, you were talking about the first time. It was like probably 2-3 weeks max after we'd started dating. It was about 2 months in, I think, till we were dating with the Big James story. But yeah, we literally 2-3 weeks max into our relationship with the story that Rhys is telling. But continue.
Yes. So, you know, on the way there, he's talking to Nova, right? And we get to Port Macquarie. And the fucking reverend, you know, he checks into his hotel first. So we go up to his room, and he has a lavish room, right? You know, fucking, it's really nice. You know, not a speck of dirt or nothing, right? It's pristine, clean. You know, nothing's touched, right? And we're like, oh, this is a really nice room. And he's like, oh, just wait until you see yours. Right?
Oh, God.
And we're like, oh, what does ours look like? And he's like, oh, you'll see. And fucking, we get in the car. Ours is just around the corner. Get around the corner. Crossfire, my partner, and myself get out of the car. And we're like, oh boy, what the fuck is this place? And it's this rundown fucking old motel that, you know, doesn't look like anyone's fucking stayed in it for ages, right? Looks haunted too.
For a fucking horror movie.
It did actually.
Pretty much what you see in a horror movie.
When we got back to it, like after the wrestling show, and it was like midnight. That's legit. I was like, holy
fuck.
But the funny thing was, you guys were in like a double bed, and I was in a single. But we were practically still spooning. Like the beds were that close together. But you know what? I'll give Reverend the credit here because we paid him fuel money. He did pay for the hotel room, so we still had a bed and a roof over it. But yeah, I think the whole night I was just texting Nova. And like I remember Rhys rolling over at like 3 a.m. He's like, "Why are you still?" He's like, "You're still talking to that bloody guy."
Yeah. Well, the thing about the hotel actually was that Rev didn't pay for it.
Oh, well, there you go. I thought Rev paid for it.
He just asked for a sum of money, right, to cover the place we were staying at and food. And I gave him whatever he asked for. And then later on, I go on to, I think it was hotels or something, one of the hotel sites. And I see the exact hotel that we were staying at on the website and how much it was. And I was like, did I fucking cover that?
Oh, Jesus.
Because it's a lot cheaper than what I fucking gave to Rev.
I don't know. I remember as I paid for fuel and et cetera, so I don't know, man. Wrestling.
But yeah, fucking John's still talking to this girl after the show and shit. And I'm like, can you fucking go to sleep?
But you know what? And I've put this over multiple times. I don't know if I mentioned it on air. That was the same show where Birdman was like, make sure you marry that girl, brother. Make sure you marry that girl, brother. And then when I finally saw Birdman again, like all these years later, he's like, I saw you married the girl, brother. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, thanks for the advice. And he's like, mate, he's like, no. He's like, obviously, he's like, you're the one that wanted to marry her. He's like, I'm just so happy for you, brother. And I was like, nah, man, I took your advice. I took the Birdman's advice.
Yeah. Oh, he's an absolute crack up. What a legend. The king of Aussie Biffo, you know? Can't go wrong with him.
I tell you what, though, in all seriousness, right, and, like, you know, people can take it for what it is. On the internet, people are shitting all over what he's doing with APW, but honestly, some of the talent that he's got coming through there currently, I think in the next couple of years might start making a splash within New South Wales and possibly even Queensland, because he does bring the Queenslanders down quite often. So, you know, people make connections. Maybe Rhys Rayzelle needs to hit up the Birdman and come down to New South Wales for an APW show.
Here's a CIC exclusive for you then. I have reached out to the Birdman since I wrestled him the last time. You know, he's like, oh, you know, I've got a company down New South Wales, yeah, it's called APW, mate. Yeah, Australian Pro Wrestling. Yeah, you can't fucking miss, mate. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking good. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll try and see if I can make it and all that. And I was supposed to be traveling with Hardwood. And the thing was, Hardwood had eventually backed out of it. Okay. So now I've got no fucking way there. So I've hit the Birdman up, and I'm just like, hey, sorry, I can't make your show. And he went fucking ballistic.
One of the
He's like, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? It's a fucking week out from the show. You can't just fucking say you're not fucking making it. What the fuck, mate? I thought you fucking owed the Birdman, you know? Fucking hell. And I'm like, Jesus fuck, man. I said I wasn't coming. Shit.
I believe one of the exact quotes actually on a Facebook post for everyone to see was APW is no hotel or something to that effect.
Like I honestly don't rate.
We do.
I don't rate his shows. Honestly, his shows to me suck. That's just my opinion, but to me they're horrible.
That's fair enough. They're definitely not the most polished, but I do think genuinely that some of the talent that he has coming through, if they keep grinding and they keep working, some of them might be able to make a pretty good name for themselves.
Yeah, I was supposed to wrestle someone there, and I won't mention him by name, but I was supposed to wrestle a guy there, and I looked at his work, and oh my god, like it was the shit, bro.
There is someone.
And I'm going, I have to wrestle this guy? Are you fucking kidding me?
There is someone from Tasmania, though, Doomslayer, who's done Birdman shows a couple of times and done a couple of Queensland shows. He has a very similar style to you.
I've met Doomslayer.
I would love to see Rhys Rayzelle versus Doomslayer. I think Doomslayer is actually heading back up to Nightfall at some point soon. I believe. I could be wrong. There's that many companies up in Queensland. I've probably got them wrong. So if I'm wrong, don't take that for what it is.
I've seen Doomslayer's work. I honestly, I love his work.
I would love to see that up in Nightfall, honestly.
Yeah, I'd love to wrestle him personally. And we've trained together. We've done a seminar together. So we've gotten to know each other's moves and stuff. So might see what happens there.
Well, there you go. I think we end the conversation there of somehow, some way. What little influence I have, zero influence, but what little influence I have on wrestling and yada yada yada. With this little podcast and Oz Wrestling, someone somewhere booked that match because, again, it'd be flippy dippy, but it's the kind of flippy dippy that I enjoy. It's weird. There's some guys that flip for the sake of it and I can't stand it, and there's other guys where it's like, no, I watched this match and I know that that's their style and I appreciate that and I can't wait would love to see those two clash. And I think honestly that big pump handle powerbomb that he does, I'm not going to say that Rhys is going to lose or anything, but I think if Doomslayer was to hit Rhys with that, I think Rhys would sell the absolute fuck out of that, to be honest.
You never know. I might telegraph it. I might have a way out. Might have a reversal.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of Rhea Ripley clips that you can study.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Shout out to Doomslayer. He's actually going to be on this pod, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, pending, life and cancellations and whatever. But he's currently in the calendar, so hopefully I might even bring that up to him if I remember when we talk to him.
A shout out to Rhea Ripley too.
Yes.
While we're Aussie wrestlers.
Obviously the biggest biggest wrestler from Australia in terms of star power ever, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
We love what she's done. Miss Crossfire is Miss Crossfire Nova Lee, whatever you want to call her, massive fan of Rhea Ripley. One of her many inspirations is Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea's awesome, and Hardwood knows her personally, so. Yo,
Grayson Waller's working PWA Nightfall. Next minute, Rhea Ripley at Nightfall.
I've got a connection somewhat, but I don't know her personally. Unfortunately, I'd love to meet her one day, though. Rhea. Oh, she'd be great to meet.
Definitely would. I've heard nothing. It's funny because she plays this hardcore woman on screen, but then literally everyone says that she's just this little sweetheart of a person, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
We should probably wrap this up before we keep ranting, Rhys, because
yeah,
we're closing on an hour and a half.
We'll end it on putting Rhea Ripley over.
And someone booked Doomslayer versus Rhys Rayzelle.
yeah, that too.
But no, thank you for jumping on, Rhys. As I said, for such short notice, we put it together in literally about 40 minutes, and I was like, brother, all I've got's the core 5. And you were like, "That's enough for me. Let's go." And we've had a laugh. We've told some stories.
When I cut a promo, it's one take.
But I appreciate you jumping on, Rhys, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, brother.
See you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Rhys Rayzelle. Miss Nova Lee got her Triple H on there during the introduction. Don't know where it came from, but it worked and it stuck, so we're leaving it.
It happened.
I did pop for him at Bad Blood, saying that he was terrorizing WCW with a nice little pun, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. We currently have our door open, so you can probably hear birds chirping and dogs barking because we're waiting for our DoorDash ahead of the NRL Grand Final. We've gotten Pizza Hut, but we're waiting for our adult beverages to arrive currently, so you can hear some more noise in the background than usual. We do apologise. We know, very fun conversation with Rhys, considering we threw it together in 40 minutes, and literally we basically only had the core 5 to go off, and then Nova threw in the Daredevil question as well. But no, very fun conversation with Rhys. But obviously this is going out on Sunday the 13th of September, October. Sunday the 13th of October. Jesus Christ, I don't even know what month we're in, and is part of our double header. Obviously 129 comes after 128 anyway, but 128 with Gemstone was a very fun conversation. Nova definitely got a lot more in with the Gemstone conversation than she did in this conversation with Rhys. And again, I do apologise, but we were just kind of, just vibing and marking out, and Nova's probably just thinking, my God, boys are idiots. But no, very, very fun conversation, which, again, you're hearing this on Sunday the 13th of October when it drops. If you're listening to it when the day drops, you could be listening to this in 2025 or 2026 for all I know with the power of technology. But if you want to listen to this early, how much do they spend to listen to this early, Nova?
$5 dues.
For as
AUD.
As little as $5 Australian, $3 US, you get 2-day early accents with our Rogue tier on Patreon. And of course, our other tiers are $10 for the Essential, $15 for the Real Main Event, and $20 Nova is
Supernova, baby.
Supernova, which obviously I have named after my Supernova because she is top tier. She is my wife. I love her very much. Because Nova still swears, and I love that you just reach over and touch my dad. That's don't you dare.
Hey, I'm a co-host.
This is my soundboard.
I'm the co-host.
There's some things the co-host don't do. Touch my sound.
I set up most of this setup
Actually,
today.
yes, Nova did plug in the entire soundboard today while I was
might
working.
not have booked this interview, but I've got 4 freaking ones booked next week.
Yes, as we mentioned in this conversation. But no, I really enjoyed talking to Rhys. And as I said, subscribe to the Patreon. It's all there. It's all in the links. It's in our link. It's in my link tree. It's in Nova's link tree. But speaking of the links, we have a lot coming up to plug on this episode. We have October 20th, MXW Sunday Sesh, the day before my Dirty 30. Some Sunday wrestling, hence it's in the title. at Mildura at the sets for MXW. It's a awesome little venue. I actually want to go to one of those shows one day. It's in a bar, little. Nice. I know they have all types of music there, but it's a very rock and roll metal
very
type vibe.
Dive bar-esque.
We really love the photos always. Obviously, October 26th, we have the Emma Butler Memorial Show. As we record this, the preview episode to that has actually just dropped as well. But as we record this, one ticket is remaining to that show. Maybe by the time this episode drops, that ticket could have been snuck up. I don't know. But as we record this, it's there, so the link will be there. But also, October 26th, Rhys Rayzelle will be competing for Nightfall Wrestling in Maryborough for pile drivers and pancakes all the way up the tippy top of Queensland. Obviously, we're going to be middle of rural New South Wales. So, depending on where you're listening to, buy a ticket to one of those. Obviously, as I said, only one ticket remains as of we're recording to the Emma Butler Memorial Show, which is awesome. As always, we will have the 25 shirts, $30 each. $10 goes to Emma's charity. How much do we raise, Mrs Crossfire?
$250.
And depending on how many, 8x10s and stuff I sell, I should say depending, 10% of everything that I sell in general will be going towards Emma's charity. But depending on how much I sell depends on how much I raise, is what I was trying to say. But yeah, and then November 2nd, there is a Nightfall show coming up. I couldn't quite find the details to that just yet on socials, but Rhys has told me that it's there, so follow Nightfall socials for all of that, and you'll find out what's coming up. November 23rd for us, Extreme Capital Wrestling, a hard day's fight. Nova Lee's going to get her ring announcing on. I'm going to get the plebby on it, and possibly colour commentary, depending on who's going to be there. We don't know. As far as we know, you're going to be on colour commentary again, but... Yeah, and then November 30th, All For One 2 in Geelong, the All For One Rumble for MXW. Whoever wins that Rumble gets a title shot the next time they're back in Geelong. And, of course, that main event, Richie Taylor, Bobby Fish. Good fucking Lord. I cannot wait to watch the footage back for that. And, of course, if you went back and listened to the Gem episode earlier today before that, or just in general before you listen to that one, you'll hear a lot of talk about Richie Taylor and stuff like that. Apparently very good friends with the Gemstone. Again, there's the birds chirping. Again, I apologise. I'm waiting for my alcoholic beverages. But do you want to hit the song and match of the week again, Nova?
Alrighty.
Ooh, my alcohol's heading towards me. That's awesome. That's an ADHD exclusive. Hit us with the song and match of the week. We'll wrap this up.
So for episode 129, your song of the week is Stupefy by Disturbed. And your match of the week is Juventud Guerrera versus... Laredo Kid and Black Taurus versus The Rascals. Impact Wrestling, November 16th, 2023.
It's a mouthful. It's one of those things where I've been a fan of Hui for over 20 years now, and I still... English is not my strong suit, so having a Spanish, Latin name, trying to translate it to English, it just doesn't work for my brain. It does not work. But it's worth noting, as we record this, it is the night of the NRL Grand Final. Pizza Hut has just arrived right before recording this outro, and as I said, my alcohol is taken 40 minutes. It's finally on the move. Neither here nor there for the episode, but it's worth mentioning, since we're having pizza, if you go to my link tree, not only will you find the Pro Wrestling Tees with the hashtag WhatAWords t-shirt, because that's probably one of my favourite shirts I've designed, and yet I think I've only sold one of them, but hey, it is what it is. But if you go to my Amazon wishlist, there is a Raphael Ninja Turtle sigh with a pizza cutter at the end for Nova Lee really wants. So, hey, if you're feeling giving for either my birthday or Christmas coming up, that's there as well in the link tree.
Yes.
But with that being said, thanks again to Rhys. Again, this episode has been a massive clusterfuck because we popped it together in so long. It's taken us, I think, longer just between doing things to do the intro and outro than it did to message Rhys and set up the interview, just because of the adult stuff and life, and had to stop to... I was literally halfway through the outro before, and then the pizza came, so we had to start again. But it is what it is. Song of the Week's been said by Nova. All of the links are going to be there regardless for Rhys's socials and the events that are coming up. But yeah, I am the Central Tornado Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you have just been caught
in conversation. Shakalaka-laka.